Hello and welcome to Interactive Distractions, episode number 452. My name is Christopher Riccio, and I am here with Jason A. Stryker.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And Travis Palm.
Oh, hello.
Just the three of us today. Jeff had some things he had to do. It is the holiday season after all. Everybody's pretty busy. But miss you, Jeff. It is Christmas Eve.
He's playing Baldur's Gate.
He's playing Baldur's Gate.
I think he is, actually.
He's in the Underdark right now. I know exactly what he's doing. But yeah, it's been a couple weeks since I've been on the show, so I'm looking forward to talking to you guys again. But real quick, let's see how things are going. Travis, what's up, dude?
Hey, nothing much. I'm not going to be a downer on this show. My dog has been in the pet hospital all week long, but we got her out.
How's she doing?
She's great. She's doing great now.
Good,
we're 2 or 3 days out of her being out of the hospital. We had to bring her back. There was something that was kind of freaking us out a little bit. We had to bring her back one night. They gave us a little bit of extra medicine. It seems to be working, and I think that we are in the clear of this pancreatitis mess with our little puppy dog. So
glad to hear that.
Yeah, man.
First time I had pancreatitis, I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. That shit is no joke. It sucks.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, it can be pretty brutal. We had to keep reminding ourselves that, this is something that humans can get quite often, and this is a multi-week recovery process for us. So, we need to be more patient when we take her home and she's not feeling well. And I think that second visit, even though we had legitimate reasons, like there were specific instructions. If your dog does this, you take her, but right back to the vet hospital. So we did that. We listened to their directions. Ironically, we get there on that second visit and they're like, honestly, we can probably be more patient with this. And it's like your instructions literally said, like, if she throws up on this medicine,
right here,
take her to the
right here.
And you get there and they're like, seems like an overreaction, maybe, possibly. And I'm like, directions. I follow them. I try to, at least. But it's
when there's a life involved, yes, follow the fucking directions.
So she's doing really, really well. Still watching over her. So I think that we're going to pass on driving to family Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving or Christmas?
Christmas. Yeah, Christmas. It's not a huge loss. We get to chill out. It's fine. No hassle.
Sense, man. I think it makes sense.
Yeah, no hassle, no driving, and we just want to make sure that she's good. Just not quite ready to leave her alone. But that's pretty much all that's going on in my neck of the woods, man. Just things are getting better with her health and feeling pretty good about it. Jason, what's up, man?
Not too terribly much. The in-laws got here a couple days ago. We're chilling. We're getting ready for festivities, which is the Christmas season, and that's really about it. We're still wrapping presents.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Like getting rid of Christmas, getting ready for Christmas. That's enough.
Like we just got decorations up like a week or two ago. So yeah, we've got presents to wrap, and that's an undertaking. So, but I don't know. Hanging in there, chilling.
Are you guys
doing
cool
Christmas
with the
thing?
Christmas? Are you guys cool with the holidays, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, that whole block? Y'all dig it? Y'all dig the holidays, or is it something that's kind of like a hassle?
For the most part, like the past couple of years, I've been kind of depressed. So it's like, it grates on me a little bit. Not in a bad way. Not like I'm annoyed by it, but it's like, shit, here we go again. I gotta deal with this depression. The
seasonal depression. I had that. I had it for about 3 months, man. It was rough.
Yeah,
it was really rough. I wish we had a core group of friends who also didn't have their family near, who just got together every year for Christmas. That's what I want. I want that friends Christmas, and that we do have a Friendsgiving group, but that group goes to their family during Christmas time. So that's what I want. I want that group that, if they have kids, so be it. It's fine. But like anyone who just doesn't have their family who wants to congregate and get together for the holidays, that's what I'm looking for. We don't really gel with Melissa's family that well. They're fine. They're nice people, but we just don't. they live far away, and we have to drive there, and we only see them twice a year, and it's just one of those things where it's more of an obligation to like see to see grandparents more than anything, just make sure we're staying in touch. But other than that, it's we could just stay home and be kind of happy. But this year it was kind of getting to me. I was like, man, seeing pictures of everybody with their families and getting together, and I'm like, it does kind of make me a little depressed to be boxed out a little bit. So maybe some changes coming into the next couple of holidays are in order. You know what I mean? To make sure that we're, I don't know, staying in contact with people. I think it's healthier.
Yeah. In the long run.
Yeah.
Totally.
Chris? Yeah. Things have changed a bit for us over the past decade. Once I lost my mom, a lot of stuff, because when it was my family, like everything was a big deal. Like the holidays were all a big deal. Like Thanksgiving was a big deal. Christmas Eve was a big deal. Christmas is a big deal. And with everything that happened on that side of the family, now it's just us with my in-laws essentially. So like this year we're doing, I always host Thanksgiving. So we did Thanksgiving here. But it was literally just us, and then my in-laws and my brother-in-law, and that was it. Like my sister-in-law and her husband and their kids didn't come, and so it was. Hey,
Jason,
it was a smaller group.
I didn't get that invite. Did you?
No.
I'm gonna have to check. I might have to check my spam on that one.
Yeah,
I'm sure they got lost.
I kind of got a soft invite. He asked if I had any plans for Thanksgiving, so I said yeah.
Okay, well that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. You don't live nearby, Travis. Are you going to fly 5 hours to
maybe
to come hang out? Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I would walk 500 miles.
Don't do that.
I would walk 500 more.
Stop now. I'm going to mute
Chris,
your ass.
Just to be the man who walked 1,000 miles
for you
would fall down right at your door.
Nice. Okay.
Da-da-da.
Da-da-da. Right. But like this year, for Christmas, like tomorrow, Christmas Eve, we're going to my in-laws' house, I think, and then Christmas Day we're going to my brother-in-law's house. But I think what I want to try and do next year is do Christmas Eve with friends and then Christmas with family, because like Christmas Eve was a big thing. For my family, and like it was an evening thing, and whole family would get together, big meal, a lot of seafood on Christmas Eve, and it was always late into the evening, and we just haven't really done that since my mom's passing. So
you grew up Catholic?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. It sounds exactly like our traditions, our old school traditions when I was a kid.
Well, it's more on the Italian side than the Catholic side. For
that makes sense too. Yeah. So, that's pretty rad, man.
But yeah. But other than that, there was Disney last week.
You did do Disney. You did do Disney.
Great.
You had fun?
It was. I did have fun, and I was I'm really excited to say that I got to ride all 3 of the new attractions that I wanted to ride.
Cool.
And they were in 3 different parks. And that's how Disney fucking gets you. It's like you got to go to 3 different parks to ride the new shit. So like so Monday we went to Hollywood Studios.
So Rise of the Resistance.
Yes. And that day was super stressful because the way Rise works is like you have to if you can wait in line if you want, it's really long, or you can buy passes, and they only let you buy passes early if you are in the resort. So
yeah, it's like 2 days early. You get to buy your
no.
Your
you start it's 7 a.m.
Oh, so you have the early but you do have the ability as a resort guest to do your fast passes. If you want to do those paid fast passes, you can do them ahead of time. You can do them like 2 days ahead of time. But you also get the magic. You get the early morning magic hour.
Yeah, the lightning pass. Well, no. The lightning pass was on sale for resort only. Resort stays only at 7 a.m. That's the way it was described in the app.
Interesting.
So we couldn't buy them because we weren't in a resort. So we had to wait until the park opens. Park opened at 9 a.m. At 9 a.m. I bought, and the earliest time they had for the lightning pass
2 p.m.
was like 6:15 p.m.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
It was fucking nuts. And then like it was open for like an hour and then it shut down. And it was shut down until probably like 2:30 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, I was like, if I leave here and I don't get to ride Rise of the Resistance, I'm going to be extremely pissed.
I smell a class action lawsuit. I say get litigious.
No,
get litigious, man.
I would have gone and asked for either my Wednesday or my Friday passes to be turned into park hoppers, just so I could come back and do Rise of the Resistance.
Right. Sure. Yeah,
but
they wouldn't have
open back up.
They wouldn't have done that, by the way.
Well, I would have asked them to. I don't know if they would have or not, but I would have asked them to. But it did open back up, so I did get to do it, and it's
amazing,
fantastic. My daughter, who is anti-rides most of the time, absolutely loved it, and more than anything, it was because she got to sit right behind that droid. Like nice. R5 is like right in she's like sitting there like interacting with the droid, and she just thought it was the coolest thing. But man, what an experience that was! Like, I think they like even just getting to the ride is part of the experience.
Really, the best part. Like it's the showpiece, because there's just a scene where you're essentially, like, the way it breaks down without spoiling too much is that you are a bunch of rebels and you have to escape because the First Order is coming to attack this base on the planet Batu. So you have a little pre-show where Rey comes up on a hologram, and it's really cool looking. It looks just like you would be in a Star Wars movie. It looks great. Yeah. And she tells you that, tells you the evacuation order is kind of setting up the story. And then the doors open and you immediately walk outside. The entire queue, almost the entire queue, like the back half of the queue, you're indoors in these caves and this, in this staging area for the rebellion. And you get to the shuttle, the escape shuttle. So you hop in, they get you packed. There's an animatronic Mon Calamari that's in there flying the ship, and they have windows, which are really LCD screens all around the ship. And then you take off. You take off, you get attacked, and then you get pulled in into a Star Destroyer through a tractor beam, and then the doors open, and you're inside a Star Destroyer.
Like, it's just amazing because it's. I think what's really cool about it is because you know how these rides work. Yeah, you get into one of these rides and it's got a lot of shaking and things like that. And the movie,
but it's an elevator. It's an elevator moving you down.
It's essentially an elevator, but you don't realize that the elevator is moving because they're still doing all the shaking and things like that. So you literally walk in and from the front and the door, there's one scenery. And then the door opens up, and and you are on a Star Destroyer. It's an entirely different scene,
and it's huge. It's massive.
You walk in, and it's this big, huge room with like dozens of animatronic, like First Order troopers.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And there's
how did you feel, Chris? Stepping in there, like, what did you feel like?
Honestly, it was just kind of awe. Like, right? It was really surprising just how smooth that whole transition went. And then I have to give props to the cast members that are on.
They're all in character.
They're all in character. Yeah. So they're all First Order officers.
And they get to be mean to guests. It's awesome.
They get to, and like they were just like, you over here, stand right here, rebel scum. And like, that's the way they're talking to you. Yeah. And he's like, and this got my son the most. Like my kid was cracking up at this, but like every group of like 16 people, so 4 groups of 4, like every group has their own cast member that is instructing them. So you're going to stand on the orange 3, or you're going to stand on this one, and when you get back inside, you're going to stand in the same color and number. And that's the way they kind of talk to you. And one of them, the one that was with us, was like, I don't remember exactly what he said. Says, you're going to stand here and I'm going to judge you. That's what he said. And there was this blonde girl that was working with another group that had just entered the room. So she was coming to get more people. And like I said out loud, I was like, we're judging you too, Imperial scum. And that's what I said. And as she's walking by, she looks back at me. She says, nobody cares. I was like, oh, God damn, this is great.
It's so good, man.
It's really like they do a really, really good job with that whole thing. But, just overall, the entire experience is just super cool. And like there's I don't want to spoil things, but the scenery of it is so good. Like there's one part where you literally are moving between like the legs of like the big AT-ATs, the big Imperial walkers. And like there's a part where you go up and they lower their guns and they're firing at you. Like the shit is really cool.
And they do these weird optical illusions where it actually makes you feel like that there are blaster fire traveling above your head and around your head.
And they've got like sparking and stuff like that. Yeah. Like they do a really good job with it.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. Yeah, that's a rad ride, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. But Wednesday was Epcot and we got to do Guardians. Guardians is fantastic.
It's a good ride.
It's a great ride. It's completely ruined Space Mountain for me.
Yeah.
Completely ruined it.
I don't know if I can agree with that.
It's completely ruined Space Mountain for me. But it's essentially like it's an outer space roller coaster ride in the dark, mostly with like a lot of lit scenery. But the draw is that they've got like the music from the soundtrack of Guardians, and then there's banter that you're hearing the whole time between the Guardians. So that was unfortunately when I wrote it, they had the audio for the music way too high, so I didn't really get a chance to hear any of the banter.
Yeah, because the story is really, really good in that one. Yeah. There's a lot of cool special effects.
Yeah, I missed most of it because the music was just too loud.
Oh wow!
And because it's all coming out of the same speakers in the seat. But my son, we ended up doing a transfer. So basically, we did the virtual pass, and once we went back for the virtual pass, we told them that my daughter wasn't going to ride it. So I went on with Link, and then when we came back, he got to go again with Crystal, and they got to go through the lightning lane.
Nice.
But he said that during his second ride, they heard all of the banter, and he was talking about how funny it was and stuff like that. But yeah, that was really cool.
I'm guessing your third ride is Pandora's Flight at Animal Kingdom. No, okay,
no.
Wow.
No, third ride was Tron at Magic Kingdom.
That's right.
Tron was fucking rad, man. And I've never experienced a roller coaster like that before, because they come out in pairs. Well, it's like a train of like 4 or 5 pairs of the light cycles. And the way you sit on the light cycles is like you get on like it's a light cycle, and you like to the point where your chest is against the light cycle, and then you grab the handlebars and you pull them back. There's a piece that kind of comes down and secures your back up against the thing, and then there's these like bars that come and secure where your legs are. So you are on a light cycle. Like it's really, really fucking cool. And they put me and Link in the front. So we were in the very, very front, and the line while that you're in, the line actually goes over the start of the ride. So you see them all pull up, and they stop and they pause so the people in line can see them. And then it literally goes like 0 to 80 in like 3 seconds. Like it's super cool. Yeah. And the first thing you do is you actually exit to essentially the entrance of the attraction, and everybody that's waiting for the attraction can you see you like go up and around the curve. I like that. Super, super cool. And just like as soon as you walk in, you are immediately like transported into Tron. Like it's like everything is lit up really cool, and it's really, really neat. Awesome. And highly suggested. But they were that was easily the 3 best things that we did. I will say this though, and this is something I did not know about. So Epcot. So Travis, Epcot or Disneyland, I don't know how Disneyland separates things, but do they have like the Finding Nemo aquarium?
No, we don't have a big aquarium like that. Our Nemo exhibit are the submarines. Okay. The old 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea submarines. It's a Finding Nemo ride now.
Okay. Well, so Disney World, you still have the Finding Nemo, and I think it's a similar ride. But they also have like a full-on aquarium within Disney World.
Yeah, I've been there. It's called the Deep or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Well, we found out that they have something called Magical Moments And basically what happened is my son and I were getting off of what's it called? God, what is it called? The space ride, the one that spins you around Mission Space.
Oh,
so we got
you
off,
did that?
We went out. We got off Mission Space.
You didn't throw up?
No.
No. Okay.
No, I've done that.
A lot of people hurl on that ride.
Yeah, a lot of people hurl. They've got bags like right in the front, and I did it with my son, and I'm like, son, just in case you need it, right here. But I asked him, I was like, which one do you want to do? And they were like, this is the blue side, it's the easy side, and this is the orange side. He's like, we're going the orange side. I'm like, all right, cool, man, let's go. But yeah, we got off of Mission Space, and we were meeting back up with Crystal and Laura, and they were like, oh, we're at Finding Nemo. And we walked in, and it was around 11 o'clock. So we're at the big aquarium area, and they've got like some sharks in there and some rays and things like that. And we see a cast member come by, and we're like, we start asking her questions like, oh, how many sharks do you have? Oh, the manatees, are they rescues? Like, because they have manatees at Disney World, right? And they're rescues from like boat injuries and things like that. And as we're talking to her, she's like, do you guys want to, would you like to have a magical moment and go and see the up top? What goes on up top in the aquarium? Cool. And we're like, yeah, absolutely. So there's like a big pillar in the middle of the room, and they open up the door, and we go up the spiral staircase. And I literally walked in. I was able to snap one picture before she said, you can't do any photography back here. I'm like, oh, put my phone away. I'm like, all right, cool. But like they didn't have any, the dolphins weren't out yet, but they had just finished up some things, and they were bringing the dolphins in to start kind of interacting with the people. So we got to see them like practicing some of the tricks with the dolphins and things like that. And we had conversations about like they also do, like here at the Georgia Aquarium, they do you can do scuba diving with some of the in some of the tanks. We have one, Jason, and well, you know her too. Our friend Serena has done it. And it's something that I actually want to do too. I'm going to try and get certified, but they say they did it too at Disney World. It's like $200 something to do it. So we were having conversations about that, but one of the things that they did that like my son said this was his favorite part of the entire trip was when they did this aquarium thing. But they had brought two of the dolphins over, and they were practicing their tricks, right? And one of the tricks that they did is she tossed them a fish, and she had the two dolphins swim by us and do the little fin wave as they were walking, as they were going by. And my kids absolutely flipped out about that. They thought it was the coolest thing. It
was a cool little moment.
Yeah, it was super cool. And never knew they did that, but I asked her about it afterwards. She says, yeah, they just tell us to find someone who's interested around 11 o'clock, and we do it like every 20, 30 minutes. And that's how we do it. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to remember that for next time.
There you go.
So super cool stuff. But yeah, Disney trip was great. I mentioned the 3 rides. Highly suggest all 3 of those rides. If I had to rank them, I would probably put Rise first, and then probably Tron, and then Guardians. Guardians is still fantastic though. So, but yeah, it's great time. But that's enough about that. Let's talk games. Like we need to talk games.
Yeah, it's a video game podcast, right?
I know it's a video game podcast. We just spent like a half an hour talking about Disney.
I'm gonna have to put chapters in the notes for like if you want to go straight to the video game talk.
Yeah, if you want to ignore Chris's bullshit, just go here.
I will put that in the show notes.
Cool. Travis, why don't we start with you, man? What do you got this week?
Hey, I play video games. So let's go Baldur's 3 since that's the one that's been out the longest, or at least the one we've been talking about the most. But I'm in Act 3. I did it.
Hey, good job.
I sent you guys the screenshot of
the overwhelming amount of side quests. Yes,
the Act 3.
It's a lot. There's a lot of
fog
stuff.
of war, the black fog of war with just the icons, and I took the screenshot, and I'm like, holy shit! Yeah, because like all these like coalesce into this city. All these stories,
everything's all coming together.
Yeah, and then that's not counting the quest you pick up. Like it was like 14 icons, and then there were like so to be fair, like a couple of those icons, like there's one that there's a murder quest where it's like 5 icons on the map for that one mission.
True,
and it's a little bit inflated. But
did you see what I said about the upper city though?
Yes, I did. I'm mindful of that. I'm kind of staying away from the main 2 plot lines because I figure those are gonna push the story forward. So I'm kind of doing all the side stuff, but I am enjoying it. I do feel Act 3 is like probably the most jankiest. Like it feels like they had less time to clean up the bugs.
Right.
In Act 3. I feel.
I've said this before. I feel like the third act, even though there's a shit ton of things to do, I felt like it was rushed.
And I felt like they went more into like they really wanted us to embrace like more of a sandbox mode for this. Like you just have the city, here are all your icons, go and dig. And you kind of basically have been doing that the entire game. But like I said, like with this, like it felt like there was no, I guess there is like forward progress because you do have those core stories, but there's something is off. I can't pinpoint it. Like it doesn't feel, there is something that it's a lack of polish, but compared to other games, like this is still the best, even though it does feel less polished. But I'm enjoying it. I'm level 10, close to level 11, sneaking on that max level, which is 12, right?
12.
I believe it's 12.
Yeah. And what class are you again?
I went with the Bard.
Okay.
And then at level 8,
sword bard, right?
Yeah, College of Swords. And when I hit level 8, I was looking through the Bard's movements and attacks and future abilities and spells, and I was just like, I'm not feeling what is coming after level 8. So I actually multi-classed into, since I was College of Swords, it's multi-classed in the fighter, so I can get those extra attacks.
Okay.
And things like that, just to be more martial. So it's I have my Bard, who is all jack of all trades, but really, really almost just as good as Lae'zel, just not as high damage numbers. But a really, really good fighter with many other capabilities. Lae'zel doing the heavy lifting. And I have my Shadowheart as a life cleric doing a lot of the healing and some summoning, and then Gale just melting things. All the things. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm sitting at right now, and I think that's going to be my core group for the rest. I'm a little bummed out. It looks like I messed up romances. I'm not sure what happened. Something happened in Act 1 around there.
How do you mess up a romance with Gale? Come on.
So I think
you
the
can.
Gale.
You absolutely can.
So I think the Gale stuff messed up my romance. So you get.
Who were you trying to romance?
So Shadowheart.
Okay.
But it got to a point where there, in that conversation with Gale, where he's like showing you the weave for the first time, I must have made a now I strictly said we're friends at the end, but I must have made a comment that made the game think that I was going for Gale, even though I told him no. I explicitly said no. We're just going to be cool as friends. After that conversation happened, Shadowheart still said, "Oh, I saw you over there talking to Gale. Looks like you and him are starting something up." And I'm like, "No, wait, what?" Yeah. I turned him down. That's weird.
Yeah. I don't think that has any effect, actually. So I got those dialogue options, but
I've never been able to. I talk to her every long rest, and I've done it for 70, 80 hours, and she's not giving me anything new. No romance options. From what I read, the romance option should have started in Act 1, and it is not.
Act 1, right after the goblin camp. Yeah. So after that party is the first opportunity that you get with both Shadowheart and Lae'zel.
Yeah, and that's when Shadowheart turned me down and said that I saw you with Gale.
Weird.
And
that is weird.
You didn't like you saw us, but and then from there, and then it also, I guess, in that moment, it also triggered my character to be homosexual, because the entire game, because they eventually come on to you throughout the game as it goes on, and every single male character took their shot at me. Every male character shot that shot. The fucking Emperor shot his shot at me. Okay, like
no, and that has nothing to do with you interacting with Gale. Like that happens anyway. From what I understand, that happens. Like every character will show interest at one point or another.
To a certain degree.
Zero women have, except for Lae'zel. I think Lae'zel will sleep with anybody after the goblin camp.
Sure.
But
that's true.
Yeah. But
she's all about it.
But it's like, it's something triggered and something messed it up. And I read online, like everybody like tons of people are having this issue. It's super frustrating, and I'm shocked that there are not any patches for this specific problem.
So you can't fix her as much as we wanted to.
So I am at the final. I am at the final. The final boss fight of her final quest.
Sure.
So I'm kind of hoping that triggers something. And also I thought about going to a brothel and sleeping with a female prostitute to see if the game will kind of like trigger that, hey, like my character likes girls. So like maybe the girls should start hitting on me too. That was like probably...
Was it the Drow twins?
It was the Drow twins. I didn't do it yet. Because I was still... I had Shadowheart in my party and I didn't want to sit here and like, pay for a prostitute in front of the girl I'm trying to court. Like it's just not going to work.
Well, that's the thing. It's like if you're what's funny about that is if you're in a relationship with somebody and you approach the Drow twins want them to interact as well.
Oh shit!
And it depends on who you've got on whether or not they're into it.
Okay.
Shadowheart starts out not into it, but after you get her second scene, then she's into it. It's interesting. Yeah.
Turn into a little freak.
Yep.
There we go. I dig that.
So hey, real quick, before you move on, I know we talk about Baldur's Gate a lot on this show. You were mentioning that you did Bard and you did multi-class with Fighter. Are you running a strength build? Are you running high strength or are you running high dex?
So high dex.
High dex, okay.
But my strength is not bad though.
So and just if you want to give it a shot, if you're already high dex, multi-classing as rogue is really fun.
I thought
with
about
a bard because if you do rogue thief, because you already get a second attack as a bard, right? And then if you do rogue thief, you get a second bonus action. So now you get 4 attacks.
Bard does not
as a bard.
Bard gets an extra attack?
Sword, yeah. College of Swords gets an extra attack. Yep.
I mean, like, okay, no. I see what you mean. We're talking about different things when we say an extra attack. Like the fighter gives me, I do have the extra attack as a bard. I already have that unlocked in College of Swords.
Are you doing
I can attack twice, but I have.
You're talking about action surge.
Action surge that allows me to attack 4 times. Yeah. Yep.
Gotcha.
And then sometimes I can attack 5 times because I have like that sledgehammer move that pops up as a it's kind of, what do they call the orange action, bonus action. But yeah, it's been great. I'm liking it. Like I want to finish it before Game of the Year, but it is really hard for a game like this just to shoot through and finish it for like I think I've played enough to know where this is going to land on my list. I would like to see it all the way through.
The second act is the shortest act. So I'll tell you that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was definitely the shortest act. But that is Baldur's Gate. Something that is new-ish with a game that we have talked about before recently, but we have Alan Wake. So I jumped back into that because they released the New Game Plus. I was interested because developers are doing really cool things with New Game Plus now. They're being more ambitious, and I like that, and I want to see more of that. But Alan Wake is also the next in line to do this as well. And the promise from them is when you replay the game, you're going to get new manuscripts, like final drafts of the manuscripts, which is really cool because this game is all about the story being rewritten. And when you pick up manuscripts, they're all written in Scratch because they're the second draft. But when you play this version, the manuscripts you get, they're actually finished. There are no handwriting annotations. They're actually fully printed. So that's kind of cool to see that.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
It is kind of cool to see that change. And then like, intro and certain voiceover lines are changed. For instance, in the beginning of the game, Alan's first words are talking about how this is a story, how, you try to, find hope and get out, but it ends up that it's a horror story and no one gets out of a horror story, yada, yada, yada. And then his intro, his monologue in the beginning of New Game Plus is completely different and it completely ties to the very end of the game. Like it pretty much like where the end of the game happens, New Game Plus happens. And it's a cool transition to kind of see what they're trying to do with this story and how to make New Game Plus work within that. And it's pretty good. I don't know if I'm ready to replay this game all the way through again. Just trying to make that last mad dash for before Game of the Year. So I'm not going to play it that much. I just kind of wanted to peek my head in and just see what they do. And then maybe like in 6 months, I'll do a New Game Plus proper and really see what like the final endings look like. I'm just not ready to go back into that game again. Let's see. So I was playing Far Cry 6 to kind of help with the ADD. Just give me a big map, a whole bunch of icons. Let me just point my character in a direction and
good for that.
Start doing things. I love it. So I stopped playing that game. So last week I was looking at sales and I was like, man, what's a game that could like Far Cry is good, but like I need something similar but different. Far Cry is a couple of years old. I want something new, something current. So I was like, oh, Dead Island 2. That's on my backlog. It came out early this year. Let's try it out. But I looked last week and it was $70, and I'm like, I'm not ready to spend $70 on that game.
No,
I almost did it. I almost pulled the trigger because I'm Travis. I almost did it anyway. But I didn't.
But Travis added some willpower, and
I exhibited patience.
I got a +2 modifier.
And then I waited.
He rolled high on his willpower check.
Yeah.
And then I checked back on Wednesday, and there was another sale.
On sale.
It was the end of year sale, and it's on sale for $41.99. So I'm like, what a great! I would have been so angry.
Oh man,
this story right here. Like, this story would have been completely different.
Much different.
if I
next day it was $30 off.
Oh yeah, it was just a couple of days later, and the Wednesday deal swapped over, so it was pretty close. I would have been furious. But I finally got into Dead Island 2, 8 hours in, 7 hours in, and it is exactly what you want out of it. If you played Dead Island 1, it's great. And there's something about like a melee combat focused zombie game that just like it feels right when
especially
done well.
One that's like so visceral, like it's so fucking realistic and just like gory at times. Like, oh shit, that was nasty.
And that's really a highlight. The way they do body deformation in this game and the gore, they have these character models like multi-layered. You have the skeletal layer, which is pretty common in video game development, but on top of that, they have like 2 levels of muscle and skin tissue that you can damage and cut through.
Wow. Cut through. It's
visceral, and it is one of the most impressive. Like when you do, like my main weapon is a mace, and when you smack a zombie in the face, and when they turn around and their jaw is hanging in real time, like just hanging off their head, like it's a sight to behold for a zombie game. So they knock that segment out of the park. This game's clearly not going to do anything new. Deep Silver was like, hey, look, we like Dead Island. We like what we did. People enjoyed it. People want more, and we're going to do that just in a new location. It's cool that it's my home location, so it kind of like when you're looking at vistas, it's like I do kind of see this every day, and it's kind of fun. But it's great. Like story wise, it's throwaway. Characters are throwaway. They force tongue in cheek comedy, which is
not what it's about.
It's not what it's about. It really isn't. It really isn't. But I hope it's
throwaway. That's what I want. I want throwaway with a game like this.
But I'm enjoying it, leveling my character up, getting stronger, getting new abilities. They have a cool leveling up system. It's done by cards. So you can unlock or find in the world these little playing cards. And when you unlock them, you can use them to put on certain areas of your skill. So every time you level up, you get a new, pretty much a new place to set a card, and that card is going to give you a perk or some sort of passive or even a new ability or healing powers or something to help you out in the world. And that will allow you to min-max and create new builds that synergize based off of what weapons and fighting styles that you want. Like I already know that I'm going to be going like heavy weapon, full blunt heavy weapons. And I'm already seeing cards that are falling to me that once I have this build set up, I'll be able to synergize some really cool things with parrying and healing and blocking and taking a whole bunch of damage. So they really did expand Dead Island in that way. But the only problem, the reason I'm not really blown away by anything in this game is that we have Dying Light 2, which practically does everything almost better. Almost everything better. Traversal's better. I do like the combat a little bit better in Dying Light. I like the zombies. I think the zombies are a little bit more fun in Dying Light, and even the story is a little bit more interesting, even though technically you can call it throwaway. I do like it. They take itself a little bit more seriously, and it's easier to get immersed in Dying Light than it is in Dead Island, because Dead Island does feel like a really fun Shaun of the Dead level comedy, gory horror movie type thing.
Sure.
And it's pretty great. But other than that, that's kind of all that I'm playing, I think. I believe so. Jason, what are you playing, man?
Every morning I wake up to my son nudging me, going, can we play Lego Fortnite? Can we play Lego Fortnite?
Oh, fun. How is that?
As soon as he gets back from school, Lego Fortnite? Can we play Lego Fortnite? Lego Fortnite is the hit in this house. It is my son's favorite game, as he's told me many, many times.
That's awesome.
We're having a good time with Lego Fortnite. We were playing in the creative mode. So there's no like survival aspects. You're not like fighting monsters.
Yeah.
You're not worrying about hunger or anything like that, or temperature or anything. What you're doing is you're pulling up blueprints from your, like sizable inventory, because you've got everything unlocked when you're in creative mode. But you can build a bungalow or a castle or, a bridge, or just so many different things. But they make it so fucking streamlined and easy and satisfying that it makes it super, super fun. Say with the bungalow or something like that, you start off with like a foundation, and it's like, okay, this is step 1 of 27 or whatever. So you pull up the menu to build shit, and it'll tell you exactly the pieces that you need. You don't need to go and scroll through and try and find that piece. It's like, you need 4 of these. Here's the 4. Go ahead and place them, and they fall down from the sky, and it's really satisfying. It's really fun. So you do that for each step, and until it's done, and then afterwards, like, villagers will start to show up to your village, and you can tell them to do jobs and shit, and it's very fun. It's very, very cool, and like I said, my son is in love with it.
Lego Fortnite? What is it? Who's the demographic for this? Are they going for gamers of all ages, or are they really wanting to bring kids into the Fortnite world?
I think it's both. The kid aspect, I think, can get along with both the creative and the survival aspect, because it is streamlined and pretty easy. There's like areas in which you can go, like in caves, that there'll be more monsters or whatever. So you can go out and seek those out with a group of people, and take those on. But otherwise, if you just want to build, that is there as well.
That's awesome. So, Fortnite really kind of shifted their own paradigm overnight with these.
This is like Fortnite 2.0 with Lego, with Rocket League, and with Rock Band being thrown in like all at the same time.
It's like they want to create almost like their Fortnite network of games. They're become their own publisher. They're self-publishing it within their own game. Because all of this is in Fortnite, right?
Yeah,
it's from the Fortnite. Launcher, Fortnite is becoming a Roblox of sorts.
Yeah,
where it's more of a platform, and it's got other games within it.
I'm sure that was the plan. As soon as they came out with the Battle Royale, I was telling Griffin about this. It's like, did you know that Fortnite actually wasn't a Battle Royale? When it first came out, he's like, what?
It was tower defense, right?
Kind of, yeah. They have the Save the World mode where you fight against zombies and shit, put out traps and walls and stuff.
Fortnite, the OG Fortnite was vastly different than what we got today. And again, that changed almost overnight.
It did.
Like that just changed, and we got what we got. So it's interesting. That's really cool that you're getting a shot to look into that.
This is honestly the best Lego game that I played, and it's not even Lego. This is
wow.
It's really good. I'm very surprised.
Is it still free? Like Fortnite is free, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely still free. So you're buying battle passes and stuff, and you can buy, so this is the cool thing. Like, you can buy cosmetics. Say that you buy like a specific cosmetic for like John Wick or something. I don't know if this is exact, but you'll also get the Lego version of that.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's really neat.
Yeah, and they've got their own emotes and everything. It's like a whole new ecosystem, but it's still like tied into the original base Fortnite, as it were. It's neat.
Really impressive.
Yeah, I'm surprised and impressed.
Mm-hmm.
How about Chris?
Good stuff. How about me? So while we were in Florida, I mostly just did what I could to finish up Mario RPG.
Mm-hmm.
So I finished that up. Didn't take long. It was about 15, somewhere between 15 and 20 hours.
Yeah, I was going to say like 15, 18. Yeah.
If you do a lot of exploring like I usually do, you can get close to 20, but it's not going to take you longer than that. It was a fun ride. I ended up getting a few characters up to level 30. It's funny, we've been talking a lot about Sea of Stars, and since I've never played Mario RPG, as soon as I started playing it again, there's just so many like little things that that you can tell were inspiration. I don't know if they originated within Super Mario RPG, but there's definitely little pieces like just the way you level up, the way that the attacks go, and all that stuff. So
that was kind of like my first question to you was kind of along those lines. This is a game where around the time where this game came out, when you're re-releasing it, I feel like there are tons of quality of life features that needed to be added to a game that's this old. So does this feel like a complete reskin under an old system for a game that came out in like 95, or does it feel like they kind of built it from the ground up and modernized controls, modernized features, or does it feel old?
It doesn't feel old. Good. It doesn't feel old. I'll say it that way. But I mean, I don't think they did a ton as far as like modernizing features, but there's certainly auto saving now. There's fast travel. There's things like that.
Okay, perfect. That's exactly what I was talking about. Okay.
Yeah, so they did a lot of things to clean that up. I will say that as soon as I got Peach, like everything just became easy. Like she is, like to say she's a healer is an understatement. And like this is probably one of the biggest problems that I have with this game. The special moves are like the magic that you get for for instance, Mario firing, like throwing fireballs and shit like that. It all feels very pointless because if you can time your button presses, your attacks do so much better than anything that you could do, except for what's his name, the Cloud dude. I can't remember his name, but they're like he's got like lightning magic, and that is really effective against some things. But like for Mario, it's like I used his fireball like 3 or 4 times through the whole game. I used jump like twice, but the way that they do it is if you time it just right, not only do you do extra damage to the dude you're attacking, it also does splash damage to all the rest of the enemies.
Yeah. Okay. So that's new.
Is that new?
That is, yeah. The splash damage.
Yeah, so if you time it right, and I got to the point like, the biggest difference between the timing with Sea of Stars and the timing with Mario is the timing on Sea of Stars was very character based. Whereas the timing with Mario RPG was character based, but also weapon based, because if you changed weapons, you changed timing. But I really didn't feel like I was using anybody's magic except for the Cloud dude with some of his lightning magic. And then Peach, because Peach can literally heal everyone to max in one shot. And then she still does as much damage with her attack as everybody else. Like it just really feels like it's fun, but I'm not going to tell people to go out and buy it over something like Sea of Stars. Like, if you're an RPG fan, I bought it because I had never played it. Like, if you have never played it and you're curious and you just want to have like a fun time with like a silly Mario story, that's what it is. It's a fun time with a silly Mario story. But it's it's pretty easy to blow through it, and it's not going to wow you very much. But if you're a fan of the original, or if you never played the original, you can find it for cheaper than full price. Check it out, I would say. After that, I went into kind of this funk. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to play next. I kept trying to play Starfield, and I just cannot get into that game. I'm really having a lot of trouble getting into that game.
That's shocking, seeing as how much you love Fallout.
No, because I actually had this conversation with Jason yesterday. I think with Fallout, what really got me had a lot to do with the combat system. VATS just made it for me. Like I loved VATS. VATS was fantastic.
It is fun.
So when I go into Starfield and it's just another first person shooter, it's very uninteresting. So I don't know if that changes, but right now I'm in like the first like big like human station, and I've got quests to go talk to different people and find a job and things like that. So I'm trying to push through some of that, but I don't know. It all like as I play it, there's so many little things that I feel like are missing. Like when you for instance, the first time I got into Space Battle, I was trying to fly towards my next objective and just fly there. And you can't do that.
No,
you can't just fly to your next objective.
Yeah,
because
everything's based
too far.
You're all in when you're in like a space battle, you're in like a self-contained sphere of space, right? And then you have to say, "This is my next spot. Go there," and then it goes there. So, like that took something away from it for me. And let's be real, it's massively uninspiring. But that's the thing, and that's exactly what I said to Jason yesterday. It just feels very average. Like it's not wowing me, but it's certainly not a disappointment, really. I mean, I guess in some ways it is, but like I don't hate it, but it's not grabbing me. And then you were talking about the God of War DLC, and I know Final Fantasy got some DLC, and it's like just having trouble going after some of that stuff. So I was just fucking around on the Switch store the other day, and I saw Sword of the Vagrant, which is just a little game. It looks very Vanillaware.
Vanillaware, yeah.
It looks very Vanillaware.
That's good.
It is not Vanillaware.
Okay, that's not good.
Let me make that completely clear. It's because you'll see, like we were just talking about it a little bit beforehand. On Steam, it's just called The Vagrant, and so I looked up Sword of the Vagrant and it doesn't show up. So on Steam, it's less than $1. Go get it. It's worth
cents.
It's definitely worth that. But if you look at like the reviews on Steam, there's a lot of people discussing like Vanillaware, and that's all the art. That's what it's about. When they're talking about the comparisons to the Vanillaware, it's very much about the art. There's not as much animation as what you see in Vanillaware stuff, and it is not a Vanillaware game. Like it does not play that well. Like as someone who played through Ownsphere, played through Muramasa, played through Dragon's Crown, like it is not that good. I'm not saying it's a bad game, but it is not as good as a Vanillaware game.
Right.
It is fun though. I've put probably about 10 hours into it. It's very map driven. So like there's different areas that you can get to. It's not, I say it's map driven because it's not a Metroidvania. A Metroidvania is here's the map, go and get a particular item that opens up this other part of the map, and you kind of do backtracking and things like that. This doesn't do that. You go through this section of the map, and then it opens up this section of the map, and then it opens up this. It's a progression. So there's not like backtracking, that sort of thing.
It's linear.
Yeah, it's pretty linear overall. The combat's fun. It's not as tight as I feel like it should be. It feels like some of the combos come out very sluggishly, and I end up missing heavy attacks because either there's like a pause after you land a hit or something like that. And you don't get the button timing correct. But overall it is competent. It just feels a little bit sluggish. It doesn't feel as tight as it should be.
Yeah, it's a shame. I'm looking at the artwork and looking at some
it's fantastic. No,
it's got a great style.
Looks good.
And as I said, it's on Steam right now. It's less than $1. Just go fucking buy it. Like it's worth that for sure.
Yeah.
I paid $5 for it on Steam and on Switch, and I certainly have gotten my money's worth. I've put more than 10 hours into it, and I'm still playing it. Like, it is still a fun game. I'm just making sure that people understand you're not going to go into this and get a combat system like Muramasa. So don't think that's what you're getting. But the story is really interesting. Like the character Vivian is it's rough. Like she's got it bad. She's got it rough right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so
oh my God.
She does. It's and she's got assless chaps. So there's that.
Oh, cool.
But my biggest problem with it is the platforming, because it's bad. It's bad.
Oh, that's kind of a deal
there's
breaker
not
for
a
me.
ton of it. There's not a ton of it, but there are certain boards in the maps that have like a verticality to them, and that's where things kind of fall apart. You have to open up double jump, and you have to open up dodging and things like that on like the ability screen. So make sure you do that first. But like it's all very sluggish. Like if you're not dashing, your jumps don't go very far. So keep a lot of that in mind. But I don't know how far through the game I'm at. I think I'm a little bit more than halfway through. I'm doing a little bit of nitpicking here. Overall, it's still been very fun to play, and it's taken up a lot of my time the past few days.
Yeah, especially for a $5 or $1.
Yeah,
game.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Or 80 cents if you get it on Steam. But yeah, certainly check it out. It's definitely worth what they're asking for right now. But that's it. And then I just picked up Armored Core.
Shit.
Oh,
so
look at it!
I'm gonna get into that a bit over the next few days. I got next week off, so
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've heard it's pretty difficult, but we'll see what happens.
It's not too bad.
And that is it for me. So let's talk some news, and I'm going to throw it over to Travis for that.
Well, that's really gonna be one story, boys. One story. There's some things going on, but really not any humongous news aside from what has happened with Insomniac Games recently. For those, we're probably the last podcast to actually talk about it by now. But if you are uninitiated, essentially the long story short is some hackers found a way to basically steal a whole bunch of information, videos, documents, emails about a plethora of games and corporate strategy, things that are going on behind the scenes in their company, and as well as, which is the biggest part of it, tons and tons of information and video and photo content of the Wolverine game was leaked onto the interwebs,
including the entire story. Apparently,
it's a brief synopsis. What I've heard, I did not read it. My stance is
I'm avoiding all of this stuff.
If it crosses my path and I can't help it, it's there. So I have seen some videos. You have a TikTok account and you search for video game stuff, you're eventually going to have that hit your algorithm. So before it was even news, it was on my feed. So I saw it. I saw like a full-blown 1 minute, and it looked near final, and it looks great. There are things to be excited about.
It's very God of War-ish.
It made me more hyped for the game. To be honest with you, it made me want the game now. So I think this will help. I think come release time, this will be an afterthought. I think this is going to generate some hype because I think the game looks fantastic.
No, yeah, as far as Wolverine goes, like I don't disagree with you there.
Right.
Like my concern is more about the the personal data that was leaked,
and that's the real
employees,
and that's the real story.
That's
that is
I mean, that's harsh. Like, yeah. And you know that Insomniac is going to have to pay for, what do they call it? Like LifeLock or something like that. The stuff that protects your personal identity and things like that. So all that insurance, you know that Insomniac's going to have to pay up for that shit.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's going to be, all that does is mess up their budgeting for games. Like, that's a big impact, you know? And then what is going to be the effect? Because this, now we know, right? They just released all this information, and we now know that there's an even bigger Marvel contract with them for like other X-Men games.
Yeah.
And like, how is this going to affect that? Like, Marvel could just say, nope, we're pulling out now.
Right.
You know?
And it very well could affect that. They could see it as a breach of trust. And that is something that can legally be warranting of dissolving a contract. So it's dangerous stuff. It could affect them negatively and stuff like that. But in terms of the game, I think I see people online who are generally pretty hyped and excited way more than what they were, which is good. But the fact that this was stolen, this is private information. I mean, this is something in other industries, even to people personally. Like, we've seen a whole bunch of iCloud, like people's nudes have been leaked, like private photos and stuff like that. And there is a line that I'm willing to cross, that I'm not willing to cross in situations like this. I'm not a huge fan of stolen information, as long as what is going on is legal, ethical, moral. As long as it's within those standards, I want to respect Insomniac Games. Like, I'm not,
right.
If I thought, like, I'm a guy biologically, for my taste, I like girls. I like good looking girls. There are a lot of celebrities I like. There are a lot of celebrities who have been attacked and their stuff hacked and put on the internet. I refuse to look at that stuff because it's not right. It's not meant for us. This information is not meant for us. Insomniac Games has something special on their hands, clearly, with Wolverine. They feel it in their bones, and they wanted to unveil it under their own terms. Yeah, creatively, this affects them, and this is really, really depressing when they've put a lot of time and effort into making this game. I'm less worried about the corporation itself, but I think
they're going to be fine. Yeah,
I think they're going to be okay.
Yeah, they'll be all right.
Yeah, I think they're going to be okay. But before I pass on to you guys to have any other further comments, a few days after the incident happened and it went public, Insomniac did go on to their social media accounts and release a quick little word. And I'm going to read the whole thing for you real quick.
Oh, I haven't heard this yet.
Yeah, it says, thank you for the outpouring of compassion and unwavering support. It's deeply appreciated. We're both saddened and angered about the recent criminal cyber attack on our studio and the emotional toll it's taken on our development team. We have focused inwardly for the last several days to support each other. We are aware that the stolen data includes personal information belonging to our employees, former employees, and independent contractors. That's such a big deal.
Yeah,
it also includes early development details about Marvel's Wolverine for PlayStation 5. We continue working quickly to determine what data was impacted. The experience has been extremely distressing for us. We want everyone to enjoy the games we develop as intended and as our players deserve. However, like Logan, Insomniac is resilient. Marvel's Wolverine continues as planned. The game is in early production and will no doubt greatly evolve throughout development, as do our plans. While we appreciate everyone's enthusiasm, we will share official information about Marvel's Wolverine when the time is right. And on behalf of everyone at Insomniac, thank you for your ongoing support in this challenging time. Really great response. Open and door shut. My favorite part, I would say, I love that they specify that this is a criminal attack. I love that. That's what it is.
Necessary. Yep.
That's what it is.
It is. It was blackmail. Yeah, they wanted money, and Insomniac didn't pay up, so they put it out, which actually makes me a little fearful for like subsequent attacks. Not necessarily on them, but like other companies.
Sure.
For the most part, when something like this happens, they're just releasing company information and not personal information. So it's like, shit, are they going to call my bluff or not? Or are they even bluffing in the first place? So it worries me that, more personal information might get out there in the hands of fucking everybody, which fucking sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that this is probably, I don't know. I mean, this isn't like there are personal information out there. So this isn't like as big as the Experian leaks from, what was that, like 5 years ago, 4 years ago? I mean, so much information. There's way more personal information out there from that leak versus like what Insomniac is seeing and stuff like that. But like, this is nothing new.
Insomniac can be targets, like personal.
Oh, for sure.
They can be targets of like a lot of vitriol. People that want this specific shit in a game, and Insomniac isn't delivering. So anyway, they're
mad that Eddie Brock was not their Venom. so I'm going to steal everything that you have and ruin your game. No, you're right. Yeah. You never know who's out there, what bad actors are going to be out there doing all kinds of stuff and everything. So yeah, you're absolutely right. And especially in such an opinionated zeitgeist that we are in video games, right? Yep. Like there is so much passion, whether it's misplaced or not, for better or for worse, that if someone has the ability and they're mad at the story of Last of Us 2, like I'm pretty sure that they will probably want to do something. It is scary stuff out there, and it's pretty immoral, especially when you're affecting people that did nothing to you. Yep. There have been hacking stories in the past where I have applauded the hacker, but like I said, in certain instances, no one's being abused. It's ethical. It's legal. There's nothing shady going on. So in this instance, none of their information should be out there, and it's really unfortunate. And hopefully, people will do better.
I agree.
Put your power to fucking good. There's so much better shit that you can be doing. Oh my god!
It's like, why are you messing with an entertainment company? Like,
let's fucking, some politicians out there need to be fucking brought to light. Like, let's work on that.
May I recommend therapy?
Okay.
It helps. It's great. Go talk to somebody. Like, get a pat on the back. Get an attaboy. Once you realize that you're not alone in this world, you're like, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna hack Wells Fargo today.
Right.
Yeah.
Deep Thoughts by Travis Baum.
Okay.
Shit, go hack North Korea or something like that. Figure out their shit. Like,
no. So is that a show, boys? Is that it?
I believe so.
Right. I think so.
Right.
I don't have anything else.
Do we
What's
have
up,
to?
Jason?
No, we had some leftover stuff from last week. Actually.
Oh yeah, what was it that you guys talked about last week? There's something that we needed to bring up.
So we talked about we're bringing up our end of year like reviews, as it were, with each console and or platform.
Right.
Let me see here. And Jeff forgot to mention a couple people. I'm trying to find. Damn.
So I've got he showed
His
Evil
highlights.
Pirate John.
Yeah, there we go.
Who's been Evil Pirate John has been a long time listener since the very beginning of the show. Yeah. So it's always good to hear from him. But he had posted his 2023 year in review for I think Xbox
and PlayStation.
Xbox and PlayStation. So it looks like Xbox, he had 121 hours on Xbox. With 2,235 total gamer score added, and 109 achievements. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then 43 hours on PlayStation, and playing 4 games on his PlayStation 5.
John, I need you to pump those numbers up, son. Those are rookie numbers.
So this is something you guys had talked about last week. I didn't get to chime in on this, so I went and looked at my shit. I had 866 hours on Sony PlayStation systems.
Shit, pretty good. What about Steam? Did you do this? Oh, most of that's Destiny, for sure.
Yes, more than half of that is Destiny.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the next highest is Baldur's Gate, obviously. So Steam, I don't have my Steam one up, but if I remember correctly, it was 200 and something hours on Steam. The majority of that was Baldur's Gate. And then I've got a couple other things sprinkled in there. And then for Xbox, I've got 90 hours on Xbox. And that's all Sea of Stars and Hi-Fi Rush. With a little bit of Starfield dabbled. Yeah. I think I only have like 5 or 6 hours on Starfield. But yeah, and what was interesting is I did the Switch one too, and the Switch one is like really far behind because it didn't have anything on Mario RPG, and I started playing that like 3-4 weeks ago, and there's nothing about it. So the latest game that it talks about is Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which I put 20 hours into.
I don't think Nintendo cares.
No.
I don't think they care.
No, they don't.
I think Xbox and PlayStation probably care about it a little bit more than anybody else, but like Nintendo just doesn't seem to give a shit.
No, I don't. They're way behind on their networking.
They don't need it. They just don't want to be the only. They don't want to be the only one without it. That's the difference. Yeah.
Let me see if I can find. I'm looking for the year in review on Steam, just so I can look at it, but I'm not going to go searching. Yeah, I don't see it right off the top, so not going to worry about that. But I definitely know that it was over 200 hours, probably closer to 250, and a lot of that was Baldur's Gate. So Baldur's Gate has between PS5 and Steam over 200 hours in Baldur's Gate. So, yeah.
That's a lot of Baldur's Gate.
It's a lot of Baldur's Gate.
It's a lot of Baldur's Gate.
It's a good game.
It's a good game.
I've heard a lot of people like it.
Yeah, this was a good show.
I like it. I like the show. And I hope you guys like the show too. If you did, please tell a few friends about us. And if you're on YouTube, drop us a like, a comment, and a subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. It helps us a lot.
We love that shit.
Yes, we love that shit. Check out our Linktree. You can go to interactivedistractions.com and it'll take you there. And check us out on Patreon if you want to help us out. Other than that, until next week, my name is Chris.
I'm Jason.
I'm Travis.
Play your games, and we'll talk to you next time.